understanding your purpose. I recently did a poll on my channel, and I was actually surprised. Well, I shouldn't say. Well, yeah, I kind of was surprised. I did a poll asking like, what is your focus going to be for 2025? And I had three options, and the option that most people put was to discover and live out their purpose. The other one was to like start their business, and then the other one was spend more time with their family, and then there was another option for you to just write whatever, whatever your particular most whatever your particular desire was for 2025. And I was really shocked because 100% so far has said that it was really to discover and live out their purpose. And that tells me that so many people still, don't know what their purpose is. And I completely understand what that's like, because I was there a few years ago. I was in the same position, which is why I do what I do, why I'm so passionate about what I do as a life and business mindset coach, just helping women, working moms, female entrepreneurs to discover and profit from their purpose. Hey, Pegamax, how are you? How are you? To discover their purpose and profit from their purpose passively with digital products, and really just getting out of that life of stagnation, unfulfillment, just feeling stuck in feeling fearful and just not living out their God-given purpose, and just being really oppressed, right? Oppressed spiritually, because you have to understand your freedom in the freedom of your spirit, man, so that your spirit can then live through you. Like your spirit, you know, it's like you're stifling your spirit. So oftentimes, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling like there's more for your life, it's because there is, and your spirit man is being stifled. And so that is why you feel like that. Hey, Kira, how are you? How are you, girl? I am doing so good. I'm doing so good today. I was extremely productive in my business today. And so I'm really proud of myself. I did really well. And so, how are you? How are you guys doing? Where are you guys tuning in from? Um, yeah, Kara, I'm trying to remember. I think you said you were I think you were in Atlanta. I don't know why I think that. Maybe I'm wrong. I forget. Is it Atlanta? I don't remember. Um, but anyway. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, D4. I'm doing okay. I started off tired, but I'm better now. Okay, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I was talking about a poll that I posted a few days ago, and the results were pretty alarming. The results were showing like a lot of people, majority, 100% so far, said that they did not know what their purpose was. And so I wanted to just do a quick live stream about that. Just really streaming and just sharing, because I know what it's like to be alive and just be alive but not truly living, right? Just existing, going through the motions, just your body's literally just on autopilot, just going along with the norms of society, but not truly living a life of fulfillment, not truly living a life where you feel alive and just rejuvenated, and you're just loving the life that you live. And I truly believe like God wants that for all of us. He wants us, when you are operating truly in your purpose, you are going to literally be popping your head off the pillow, because you have a vision for your life. You have a mission, your assignment. And I can truly tell you, like, I am truly living that today. Like, I am so excited every morning to wake up. And that's why I have a hard time going to bed at night, because I'm constantly working, because I just love what I get to do. And so it doesn't feel like work for me. I just really thoroughly enjoy what I get to do. And so, oh, you're in Tennessee. Okay, my bad. All right. I know for next time. Um, And so, yeah, so I know what that's like. And so I'm just super, super passionate about helping others to truly discover what their purpose is, because it sucks. It really sucks when you really have no idea what your purpose is and you just feel so lost and so stuck, and you're like going through the motions, going to a job you hate every day, just, miserable. You're trying to get ahead, you're trying to be positive, but it's just a hard, sometimes it can be hard, if you don't have the proper mindset tools, if you don't have, the strategies to really discover what your God-given purpose is. I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you so much, Kira, for doing that. And so I wanted to just give a backstory. So for me personally, and I don't know, for some of you, probably you're not aware that you are first and foremost a spirit. And so I didn't know that. I honestly did not know that. I think I was like in my 20s when I discovered it. Was I? I was like late 20s when I discovered that I was actually a spirit. I had no idea. I was literally just going through the motions, just in like living in the physical. Well, obviously we're living in the physical, but like I thought the physical was more real than the spiritual. I was so lost with that. Oh, thank you, girl. I was so lost with that. I was just like, I really thought, I thought the physical was more real because this is what I can actually see. And so I had no idea, like, the spiritual realm was even more realer, And so when I read the Bible and I looked and I was like, oh, wait, I'm reading in Matthew. I'm sorry, Matthew. I wasn't Matthew, but I'm reading in Genesis, right? I start reading my Bible. I'm reading in Genesis. And then I see that in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, verse 26, it says, then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing, right? And then it says verse 27, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them, right? And then, so this is chapter 1. Mind you, we're created in God's image. So then I turn the chapter and I go to Genesis chapter 2. And then I see in verse 7, it says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust and of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. And so I was just like, So in chapter 1, verse 27, it says, so God created man in his own image. But then in chapter 2, it says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, right? And so we know that we are first created, our higher self is spirit, right? That is who we are. That's the essence of who we are. We are first and foremost a spirit. And we are living on this earth. We're a spirit having human, experiences, right? And so we're flesh. We have on this flesh suit, right? God formed us from the dust of the earth. And so our physical bodies is like the lowest form of us, right? And so once I began to understand that, and I was just like, oh, and then I read in Jeremiah 1:5, where God was saying, before I knew you, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you, right? Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I'm going to read it verbatim. So it says here, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations. And so, God destined our purpose before he actually formed us, right? Before he even placed us in our mother's womb, before he formed us in our mother's womb, fearfully and wonderfully created us in our mother's womb, we were already on God's mind, right? God already knew us before that. And so that means that we have a purpose here on this earth. God has placed each and every one of us on this earth for a purpose. And so, oh, I should put that poll here, actually. Let's start a poll. Let's see. Do you know what your purpose is? That's the title, but I should put the poll. All right. Yes. And then I'm going to put not sure. Okay, so ultimately, we all have the same purpose. All right, I'm starting that poll. Oh, and with gifts fitted to his purpose. Hey, Kevin speaks to us according to his purpose, each individually. Thank you for sharing that, Kevin. Thank you for sharing that. So oh yes, so this is where I left off. So I was sharing how we all of us have the same purpose. And each and every one of us, according to Isaiah 43:7, God literally says in his word in Isaiah, he says, every one of us that he's formed us with to bring him glory, right? We're all created to bring God glory. And so everyone who is called by my name, whom I have created for my glory, I have formed him. Yes, I have made him. And so each and every one of us are called to bring God glory. And just as Kevin shared, with gifts lifted to his purpose, God has placed gifts and talents and skills in each and every one of us. And so it's our responsibility to now go forth and discover, right? Discover what those gifts are. Discover what those gems, those talents, those skills that God has placed within us. Discover what those things are. And then we are called to now develop those gifts, develop the skills, develop the talents that God has given to us, and then go out and deliver it. That is the only way we're going to actually have fulfillment in our lives. We have to know what our gifts are. We have to know what they are so we can develop them and deliver them to others. That's the only way to be fulfilled. And I truly not only think that, like, I know that because, even though you have gifts and you may be using them, but oftentimes, like, you're not going to have that, fulfillment until you're actually, like, literally walking out God's plans and purpose for your life. And oftentimes people, like I said, may have gifts and skills, but if they're not using it to honor God and really glorify God, they may have all the money in the world, they may have all the fame in the world, but they will never ever have that inner fulfillment. They will never ever have that peace, right? That surpasses all understanding. They'll never ever have that true love and joy that only the Holy Spirit can bring to us. Only God can give us that. Money can't bring it. Nothing, no drugs, alcohol, nothing can bring you peace or happiness or joy. Only God. And so that's why there's, I don't run after money or wealth because that is not the most important thing. The most important thing I truly feel is to honor the greatest commandment, which God says to love him, love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and to love others as you love yourself, right? That he says all of the law can hang on those two. And so that is the greatest commandment. And so when you love God and you love others as you love yourself, that's when you're truly going to really live out what God has placed you here for. Because if you truly love God, you're going to want to honor him, glorify him by discovering the reason why he placed you on this earth and actually living it out. It's really, for your benefit as well, if you want to truly live that life of fulfillment. So I wanted to share that. So that is it. Like, we literally came here on this earth for a purpose, for a reason. And it's just our responsibility to discover it. Otherwise, we're going to be living here miserable. And so that was me a few years ago. Just, I did all the right things that society tells you to do, went to school, got good grades, always an honor student, principal's list, straight A's. I did so well, in school, and I passed my NCLEX, my nursing boards, first try. Like, when so many people were flunking out of nursing school, by the grace of God, I was able to, especially in the last 2 years, I excelled. And was in my beautiful career that my dream career, had everything, had the things. But after a few years, I was just like, why do I feel unfulfilled? Why do I feel like this isn't it? And it was truly because God was calling me outside of the four walls of the hospital and into the four corners of the earth, is what he just revealed to me just recently. And so yeah, so I wanted to just give this tip for you if you're trying to discover what your purpose is and you need a little help. I love your lives. Thank you for showing your gifts. You're inspiring, lady. Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here on this live. I truly appreciate you, and you are truly a gem. I love your comments. You always have like the best comments and advice and the word of encouragement, and you're always dropping scriptures, and I appreciate you. I really do. I really do. Okay, so I wanted to just give this diagram here, because we just go through life, going through the motions, and never take the time to truly analyze. Anthony, how are you? Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. You were able to go to the gym. It's all good, bro. I'm talking about like discovering your purpose, because I had a poll posted and majority of people said that they didn't know like what their purpose was. And so I said, let me do a live about that today. Yes, I agree. Your live are always really good. Thank you so much, Kira. Thank you so much, girl. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you guys so much. So I have like a whole book on like discovering your purpose. Clear Purpose Roadmap. It's my first book that I created, and it's now sold worldwide, and I'm just so grateful to God. It's on Amazon and it's on my actual website. But that book literally breaks down how you can discover your purpose also. But I wanted to just do this really quick diagram. It's not really a lot tonight. It's just I wanted to do this because this is an exercise that actually helped me. And also, I have homework for you if you are someone who are not sure, because it's right now the poll says 50-50. And so if you're someone who's not sure about what your purpose is, this exercise is going to help you so much. Okay. And so get a piece. Well, if you have one now or later, whenever, grab a piece of paper, and then you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to just put a line down the middle. And then on one side, you're going to say, you're going to list, it's a list of 10, right? And so on one side, you're going to put like 10 things I love to do. And then on the other side of the paper, you're going to put 10 things I am really good at. All right. And so you're going to do this exercise. And I'm telling you, when I did this exercise, I'm not going to lie, it was hard for me. It was so hard for me to come up with 10 things that I was really good at and 10 things that I love to do. I don't know why it was so difficult, but I couldn't. I think I got to like 5 or 6, and it's just, I just drew a blank. I'm like, I don't know what else. And so I had to ask, if you find that you're not sure, just ask your closest family or friends around you, hey, my girl. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Coach Tiff. So yeah, just ask your closest family or friends, someone close to you, to really just point out some characteristics, because oftentimes, like, we won't see it because it comes so innate to us. Our gifts, our talents, it's just second nature to us. So we can't tell. It's like being like in a water bottle, right? Like, say you're in a water bottle. The water bottle, you can't read the label from inside of the bottle, and so sometimes you need someone from outside. And so this is why I love what I do with coaching as well. Like, I can see it, I can pinpoint things that my clients might be overlooking, and I'm like, no, 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 that is so good. That's gold right there, what you have. Oftentimes we overlook our gifts. We overlook the gems and the gifts and the talents that God has placed in us, because we're like, oh, that's easy. I do that with my eyes closed. But that's it. That's exactly it. Mia, hey girl. Oh, yes. Okay, girl. Yes, it is. It is hard sometimes. It's so good to like ask though. Ask. I had to ask my husband. I had to ask my friends. Like, I didn't know. And then another thing, just always think about like what people always tell you. What is something that they're always complimenting you on? Like, 10 things that you're really good at. Like, people are going to tell you, think back at some stuff that people always say to you. And yeah, I did this exercise, and this is what started my first business. This is literally what started my first business. Just doing this exercise, because I was literally I was working as a nurse, and like I always share, I was like really miserable. Like, I loved my patients, I loved my career, and that's the thing. I was so confused because I'm proud of being a nurse. I love my career, but it was just the hospital setting for me. Like, I just could not, like, I felt like the walls were closing in. I felt boxed in, and it's so hard to explain it, but I know now in hindsight why I was feeling like that. But at the time I was so confused. And so I did this exercise. And when I did this exercise, I had to really, so something that I love to do, I can talk for hours and hours and hours about God, right? And so I love talking about God. I love sharing my faith. I love inspiring and like encouraging others. And so that was something, like, even with, my patients, I would like literally, go into their rooms. I would look for patients that were believers, and, ask if I could pray with them, just speak life into them, encourage them. And, like, I love my patients, and my patients loved me. Like, I really loved what I do. And so but I knew that, right? So that was one thing that I wrote here. I love talking about God. I can talk about God forever. I love reading the Word of God. I love learning. I love revelation. I just love the wisdom that comes from God's Word. And so that is something that I loved, right? And then I always loved fashion. I've always been, ever since I was a little girl, and I'm sure I get it from my parents. My mom, she was very, very, very stylish. My dad is super stylish. My dad went with me to church for the first time what was it, 2 Sundays ago, and everyone, like all my church friends, they were like, "Oh, now I see where you get your stylish whatever from." And I was just like, I know I get it from my parents. So whatever. Long story short, I always loved fashion. I was always into fashion, and that was just my thing, And so I knew that, right? I loved fashion. And so because I knew I loved fashion and I loved talking about God, my husband had already had this idea where he wanted to start a clothing brand. He wanted to start a t-shirt company. And I was just like, but he had said it like maybe a year prior. And I was just like, well, what are we going to put on the t-shirts? Like, what do you plan on putting on the t-shirts? And then we couldn't think of anything to put on the t-shirts. And so one morning I'm driving to work, I'm in worship, and I'm driving to work on the highway. And I'll never forget where I just heard the Holy Spirit, like I heard God tell me, put my word on the t-shirts. And that is what started my first business. But if I never did this exercise to really analyze the things that I love to do and the things that I'm really good at doing, I would have never been able to pinpoint that. I would have never been able to come to this conclusion and say, oh, okay. And so this is what started Faithology brand. Initially, it was called Faith on Fashion, and then we changed the name to Faithology brand because we wanted to incorporate other items, And so this is what started my first business. And then hit like, what is it, 3 years, 4 years later, well, 3 years later, I started my coaching business as a spinoff, helping other women to start their businesses. And so that's how I got into the coaching side. And I cannot tell you how truly in love I am with what I get to do. And if I never like just a simple exercise like this, So if you're someone who just don't know what your purpose is, this exercise is going to truly help you. As Mia says, it is hard. It is hard, but you could literally just ask. And yeah, just think of some things that people always say to you. People always complimented the way that I dressed. They always complimented the way I carried myself. And I'm very tall. I'm 5'11", almost 6 feet. And so people would always ask me everywhere I went, are you a model? Are you a model? And honestly, I feel like, yeah, and I would always hear that and I'd be like, no, I'm not a model. I never could understand why everyone kept asking me that. And I think it's just God, sometimes God speaks to you through other people and people plant seeds. And so because that was always something that stood out to me, I wrote that on the list as well. Like that's something that people always ask, And so that's the exercise that I want you to do. So let me know if you actually do it. Put in the comments if you actually do it. Just comment back on this video if it's something that you actually do, because I know it's going to help you. And so, pretty much that's it. You're going to have your passions on one side, and then you're going to have your proficiencies. So one side is your passions, like what are the things that you love to do, like we just mentioned. And then on this side is your proficiencies. Can't spell. Your proficiencies, the things that you're really good at. And oftentimes the passion, it could be something that is painful for you as well. Like what is something that troubles you? Is there like any cause that you're like, oh no, you feel so passionate about, you're like, maybe it's the homeless, maybe it's, women, whatever situation it could be something that you're maybe children, abused children, or something that you're really passionate about, like maybe something that troubles you that you can say, okay, no, I have to be the voice to stand up for that population, right? So that could be your passion as well. It can also be like, I often talk about something that was painful in your past as well, like a trial that you were able to overcome, that you can literally turn around because it's going to serve a purpose. So your purpose is literally going to be right at the intersection of the things that you're good at, the things that you love to do, your skills and your passions, your gifts, right? This is where your purpose lies. And then to take it up a notch, if you want to start a business that's in alignment with your purpose, you have to find something that you are passionate about, that you're passionate about and that you're proficient in, right? And then you can start a purpose-driven business by finding something that pays, right? Something that you can profit from. So if you find a problem that you can that someone will, if you have a solution to someone else's problem, that is literally a purpose-driven business, because that's all a business is. It's just a solution for a problem. That's it. And so for me, I have a passion to help women. I have a passion for moms, because my biggest thing for me was leaving my children for 13 hours. That was another thing. I hated that. And I wanted a career where I could work from home or work from anywhere. Okay, wow. I had no idea you were you were tall. Yes, models are tall. It's the way you carry yourself is probably why. Thank you so much, Coach Tiff. Yeah, I'm super tall, girl. I'm actually taller than my husband, to be honest. I'm really tall. My brothers are all tall. My brothers are like 6'4", 6'3". My dad is super tall. So yeah, I'm a tall girl. So yeah, so I'm super passionate about helping women to discover their purpose, helping women to get unstuck, helping moms especially because I know what it's like to have to leave your children for hours. I would go to work, especially up north. I would literally go to work, it's still dark out. I would come out of work and it's dark out, like literally all day. And I would be away from my children for hours, hours, hours at a time as a nurse, like 13 hours plus. And then I felt like I wasn't seeing them. And then not only that, I remember one time I literally missed it was just like as a mom, it's just hard missing key, moments in your children's lives. Like my son, his first few steps, my friend literally called me and was just like, Janelle, AJ just took his first steps. And I was just like, I was so heartbroken. I was at work and I'm just like, no mom should have to do that. Like, I get it, like we're not all called to entrepreneurship. I get it. But for me, I wanted to be more present in my home. And so that was a big passion of mine. And so that's why I'm really like, I really am passionate about helping moms to get unstuck. Like that is my passion. I'm passionate about, the word of God and just giving revelation on the word of God, and that you don't have to be held captive. You are not bound, right? You are free and you have gifts and talents that you are to go out and to bring forth into the world. And so I really, truly am passionate about that. And then God has gifted me with, and I just recently learned this just over like maybe the last few, when he told me to start speaking, and I learned that I have the gift of teaching, which I never thought I did before. And so just teaching and just showing up and just honing in, like, when I mentioned before about discovering your gifts and then developing them. And so it's a matter of just really, truly developing them. And so this is why I love to learn. I'm constantly reading books, learning. Like, you're not going to see me scrolling. You're not going to see me watching television, watching the news, gossiping on the phone. I'm not doing any of that. Like, I'm always constant. I'm very aware of what I listen to and what I watch. Right. But yeah, I'm always constantly developing my skills so that I can serve others. Like, I want to just be a vessel to serve as many people as I can. And so that is why I'm so passionate about what I get to do. And so because there's a problem, right? There's a problem. There's women out there that feel stuck, lost, confused. And then there's a solution where I can help them to actually start businesses with digital products so that they don't have to, be stuck to one paycheck. They don't have to be relying on clocking in and trading their time for money. You can actually profit from one digital product, two digital products, or whatever, and you do it one time and you're constantly creating income, creating revenue from it. And so this is like the solution to that, right? The moms who are out there that want to have more freedom, time freedom with their children, but they're stuck going to work. I know what it's like. And when I was able to transition into full-time entrepreneurship, it's like I had this heavy burden where I'm like, I want other moms to be able to start their own businesses. I'm like so passionate about that. I'm so passionate about women starting their own businesses. And even if you're comfortable in your career and that's not an issue for you, but in this day and age, you also need other streams of income, because one stream of income is really not cutting it, especially in 2025. And so that is what I was really, really passionate about. And just, I was able to create a purpose-driven business from it and help others to do the same. And so if you have a passion for a particular group of people, or just a pain point that you've gone through in your life that you now have a solution to someone else's problems, and you're passionate about it, you're proficient in the skill, literally you can start your purpose-driven business. You can. All right. And so I'm living proof, and I hope so many other women do the same. And so yes. And so I wanted to just share that. And then also I wanted to talk just about quickly, like some of the things. There are 3 hindrances. Did I say that right? Hindrances. Okay, the poll is up to 56%. What would you recommend a person do when their partner is not on the same page as them as far as growth goes? Sometimes people could feel a tug of war battle with their partner, Wow, that's so good, Anthony. Okay, so with this, I always recommend go to the spirit. Pray. Pray about it. And you also, like your partner, when they see you elevating, it's going to motivate them to want to start elevating as well. Right. And I always say, but first and foremost, you want to hit it at the spiritual level first. Like pray about it, really pray about it, and go to your heavenly, go to your father and just ask him to give you wisdom. Truly, God is going to give you wisdom and insight on how to truly maneuver in that situation. But I honestly feel like when your partner sees how you are elevating, how you're growing, how you're leveling up, they're gonna feel so uncomfortable staying the same, right? It's just, I honestly truly believe that. And so I hope that answers your question. But yeah, I understand how that is. I understand how that is for sure. I have friends that are currently going through the same thing. But yeah, I think once you continue to develop yourself as well, what happens if it doesn't motivate them but actually creates jealousy or disrespect? Wow, that is good. That is deep. It doesn't motivate them but actually causes jealousy or disrespect. Wow. I'm gonna ponder on that one, Anthony. I promise. I'll come up with I'm gonna pray on that. If it's I Because I don't ever want to say, because you can't allow anyone else to hinder you, right? And to block your own growth. Just continue to pursue and show up. Yes, Mia, I agree. You don't ever, but if it's causing jealousy or disrespect, yeah, that's not cool. Like they have to, you want to be with someone who's you're equally yoked with. You want to be with someone that you're equally yoked with. And God can change any situation. I truly believe that. But yeah, if it's causing jealousy and disrespect, that person needs to just like more spiritual enlightening and awakening. Their spiritual eyes has to be opened, because it's like, you don't want to be with someone that's pulling you down, almost like a crab in a bucket. You don't want to be, around anyone. And that's why it's so important to really, I always say this, evaluate your circle and the people that you're closest to, because, you're a product of the 5 closest people around you. And so, yeah, I'm going to pray on it for you as well, though, for sure. I'm going to pray on that, because that's not a cool situation at all. And that person will, I know personally quite a few people that are in that situation. It's a very common situation and they're miserable. But yeah, I always say just pray about it. That's always going to be my first response. Go to the spirit. Go to the spiritual realm, because that's where everything happens first. Oh, you're welcome, Anthony. I hope I have more answers for you on our next stream for sure. Because that's a touchy one. That's a touchy one, especially if you have like, if there's kids involved. Because if there's like no kids involved, then it's just like, all right, I'm out. I'm not gonna deal with this. But if there's kids involved, then it's like that's another level. Or if you're married, then that's a whole nother thing too. So it's like, but that's such a common issue. Man, that's such a common issue. But yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, just ask God. I'm telling you, God's going to guide you, and don't even pray for the other person. Well, I shouldn't say don't pray for the other person. Yes, pray for the other person. Yes. But pray for yourself. Like pray and ask God for wisdom on how to maneuver, how to respond, how to, encourage the other person, because it's like when I mentioned yesterday, like just be quick to listen, slow to respond. And so what is the core issue? Like what is the issue at the roots? Why is there a spirit of jealousy there? Right? Why is there a spirit, like why is there disrespect? There's something deeper. there's probably like insecurity or unworthiness or just a lack of self-love. I truly believe it's oftentimes just a deeper rooted issue in that individual, and oftentimes their reaction towards you is just how they feel about themselves. um oh, thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's truly like, I truly believe, because when you don't love yourself, or you're feeling unworthy, I feel honestly those are the people that don't want to go and elevate. You know what I mean? I think because I've been there. I know what that's like. Well, yeah, I know what it's like to feel unworthy, but I still always, by the grace of God, I was always someone that was I never liked to feel stagnant. I was always like a go-getter. I was always like an action taker. And so that was just always me. But yeah. So yeah, I wanted to just really quickly say there are three things that will hinder you from actually walking out your purpose. And I was gonna actually probably do another lesson. I'll go deeper in another lesson about these three things, but really quickly, it's unbelief. And so oftentimes, like, the enemy attacks us with doubt and makes us feel like we can't achieve the business or the vision that God has for us. And so there's a level of unbelief. And then another thing that will stop you from actually venturing out and doing what God has called you to do is because of, let me write it down. So there's unbelief. That's the first one. So unbelief will stop you or hinder you, right? And then the other one is unseen, right? And what I mean by unseen is you're so afraid of other people's opinions about you. You're so afraid of messing up. You're so afraid of failure. You're so afraid of just putting yourself out there that you remain unseen. And, you can't want or desire an extraordinary life doing the same ordinary stuff, right? If you want an extraordinary life, you don't want to be among the mediocre many. That means you have to do things that are going to elevate you. You have to do the extraordinary things. So extraordinary. So pretty much when you spell extraordinary, extra or so ordinary is what you never ever want to be, right? You never want to be just average. This is like just an average Joe, average person living the average life, just going on with the norms of society, just kind of like going, life is happening, they're not shality, they're just allowing whatever happens to happen. Just the average person out there, right? The mediocre many. But because you are called and chosen and you're anointed and you're set apart for God's kingdom and God's glory, you have to do extraordinary things, right? And so pretty much you're just going to add a ordinary stuff every day. And so it doesn't go above and beyond every single day, but just extra, a little bit extra, right? And so, whatever that might look like for you, some extra habits that you can start incorporating, healthier habits, or, maybe a little extra. Anthony, you're good at this. You go to the gym all, excited about your fitness. I came from nothing, out and convicted felon, changed my whole life around and accomplished so much. She went to college and didn't accomplish as much. Oh, wow. Wow. I love your testimony. Wow. I love, 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 love your testimony. Many people can, really sense where if you can do it, I can do it too, right? And so I love your testimony because it shows how much you've triumphed over. The odds were stacked up against you, especially as a convicted felon. Like, the odds are stacked up against you, able to accomplish college. I feel like college, like unless you're going to college that, like to be a doctor or a lawyer or like a nurse or a teacher or whatever, like where you need the degree. Because oftentimes it's like, because I went to college and I have my but now I'm not really. So I get what you mean, like college and her degree was, because sometimes I remember there were like people going and just getting these bizarre, like liberal art degrees. Like there's nothing, like, what are you going to do with that? But it's just to say they went to college and got a degree. So yeah, so you want to be extra. Put a little extra on your ordinary every single day. Oh, how are you, pretty thing? So yeah, now we're going to jump into the last thing that I wanted to share, and that is unawareness. Unawareness. And so this is like when you are just unaware of the subconscious thoughts that are limiting you. And so you desire more in your life. You desire to have a brighter, bigger vision, a yourselves and your family and your loved ones, and you have goals, but you're unaware of the lingering thoughts that can be sabotaging you every single day. It's the limiting beliefs that you can't see or you're not conscious of. They're in your subconscious on auto, doing the things that you don't actually. Have you ever actually, man, I want to, like, I don't know, going to the gym. I want to go to the gym. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. But then you're constantly eating. You're doing the exact opposite of what it is that you want, right? And so there are subconscious thoughts there that are hindering you. They're hindering you. They're blocking you. The brain is trying to keep you safe because, the brain goes back to like your history. The brain only can perceive past circumstances or past. Hey, Brittany. Excuse me. The conscious can only like recall past activities, past things that have happened to you, and they'll retrieve all the times you messed up in the past, and the brain is going to try to protect you. The main objective of the brain is to keep you safe, and it's there to seek pleasure and keep you safe, seek pleasure, and what was the third objective? I forget. I say it all the time, and now I drew a blank. Seek pleasure, keep you safe, like keep you from harm, predict danger, and there's one other one. But anyway, the brain wants to keep you safe. And so whenever you're doing something new, something outside of the comfort zone, you're going to find like your body on autopilot is going to like hesitate, right? When it's time for you to, start speaking, showing up for yourself, showing up for your business, it's like you're not doing it because subconsciously there's a thought. And so really quickly, I'm just going to leave this one question on the board, and then you can ponder on it over the weekend. Ponder on it. All right. So I want you to just think of something that you really, really want to achieve in your life, right? Say, for instance, you want to start. All right. Let's just say you want to start your business. That's just a quick, easy example. So say, for instance, you want to start your business. I want you to write this question. Think of something that you really want to do for 2025, like a big goal, a big bowling ball goal that you want to achieve. And so this is what you're going to ask yourself. I want, right? This is going to be the goal. I want, this is the goal or the vision, right? But I don't want this. So this is what you don't want, right? This is the problem. This is what you don't want. And so I want you to ask yourself this question. Okay, you want to write a cookbook. Awesome. Awesome. Can you think of something that you don't want that will come with the territory of writing a cookbook? And so oftentimes I want to, all right, I'll say this one. I want to start a business, right? So I'm just using that as an example. I want to start a business, but I don't want, I don't know, extra work. I don't want extra work, or I don't want less time with my kids. I don't want less time with my kids. And so think of what this is that you don't want, because that very thing is what's subconsciously blocking you, right? When you should be showing up and creating content for your new business, or when you should be doing research to figure out how you're going to start your business, what your business is going to be on, when you should be doing the work, subconsciously, you're going to end up scrolling. You're going to end up, folding laundry. You're going to just find yourself doing random stuff that is not serving you, not helping the vision that you see for yourself. But that's the brain controlling the body to keep you safe, because you don't want this. You don't want extra work. You don't want less time with your kids. You don't want the problem that comes with the vision, because every blessing has a burden, right? Every blessing has a burden. And so, I don't know, can you think of something pretty things that you don't want? You want to write a cookbook. How long have you had that goal? Is that a recent goal of yours? And if it's not a recent goal, why haven't you done it? Can you think of a reason why you haven't done it? Because that problem, the reason why you haven't done it is what's hindering you, right? That's what's hindering you. And so say, for instance, let's just do a bridge, right? So this is what you want. So you want, what's another example I could say? I'm trying to think of another example. I got to get better with these examples. I'm trying to think of another one, not business. There's something else. I'll just use Pretty Things one. I don't know if she's still here, but she says she wants a cookbook. She wants to write a cookbook. That's what she wants, right? And then she doesn't have, right now, she doesn't have a cookbook yet, right? This is her current right now, no cookbook. But to get over there, she's seeing this is the bridge, this is the water under the bridge, and she's seeing these sharks coming up, right? These sharks that are popping up are the blocks that's stopping her from writing the cookbook. So she's probably wanting to write the cookbook, but maybe, okay, it's a recent goal. Haven't done it yet because I spend too much time doing random things. Right. And that's to my point too. The random things in our days is just the body keeping us safe. The brain, because the mind controls the brain. The subconscious mind controls the brain, and then the brain controls the body. And so if you never get to the roots of what those subconscious thoughts are that are hindering you, then you're never going to be able to rewire your brain. And then you're never going to train your body to actually operate and to show up. Okay, Brittany says, I want to start making more money in my business, but don't want to prioritize investing money correctly. Gotta stop spending. Ooh, Brittany. You got it, girl. You got it, girl. You got to stop spending. I love that revelation. I love that because, I want to start making more money in my business, but don't want to prioritize. Yeah. Investing money correctly. Yeah. Yep. You don't want to give up the shopping. You don't want to give up the splurging. And that is what's hindering you. Okay, the ego wants us to stay in our comfort zone that we were subconsciously programmed into. Exactly. That's exactly it. We're subconsciously programmed into it, and it's comfortable. And the brain wants to keep us safe. The brain wants to keep us comfortable. The brain likes to Netflix and chill. The brain doesn't like to think. The brain doesn't want to try new things. The brain doesn't want to do any of that. The ego, the brain, like it's stopping you. It's blocking you subconsciously. So you're finding yourself doing things like Pretty Things said, too much. You're doing random things. You're finding yourself doing random things. And I was very guilty of that. So like for me, sometimes where I was nervous to show up to go live before, I would literally find myself folding laundry. You procrastinate a lot. Exactly. That's exactly it. Because the brain, the body doesn't want to do the work. The brain doesn't want to sit down and do the work. And so when you can find what is that core problem, what is the very thing you don't want to do, that's the thing that you have to tackle. That's the problem that you have to tackle. This is the exact thing you have to tackle. All right. And you tackle that by renewing your mind around this situation. Renew your mind around it. Just shift your mind. Make the work, instead of thinking, oh, it's extra work, just think of it as I get to do this work. I love doing this work. This is my passion work. When I do this work, think of the result that you want. Think of the future. Think of the cookbook. Think of the business. Think of whatever it is that you truly desire. That's right, Anthony. That's exactly it. Discipline. Brittany says, I want to be a morning person, but I don't want to get on a decent sleep schedule. LOL. I'm right with you there, Brittany. That's me. I still struggle with that. Discipline is truly key. Yeah, I struggle with that too, Brittany. I am like that too. I'm like, I want to be a morning person so much, but I find myself up just working, just doing stuff like, yeah. As an entrepreneur, especially a solopreneur, like when you have to do everything I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a lot of work, but when it's your purpose work, it's like you love doing it. Like it doesn't feel like work, Mornings are so tough, but it's so peaceful. That's it. It's so peaceful. I love it. I love getting up early. I feel so like productive, so much more productive when I'm up early. It takes me 2 hours to wake up. I feel you, girl. What type of business do you do, Brittany? I'm so curious. And that's the thing too, because it's like when you're an entrepreneur, like you literally make your own schedule. And so you don't have like, necessarily to go run and clock in at anyone's job. So it's like you have to really, like Anthony says, be very disciplined. Oh yes, copywriter and editor. Got it. Okay. That's good. That's great. That's good. Okay. Yeah, you got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined, especially as an entrepreneur. You have to be, because no one's on top of you. You don't have a boss on top of you, And so, yeah, I feel you on that. You got to get up. You got to get up. And so, yeah, I want to challenge you to just continue to think about this in all areas of your life. Like, what do you want? But more importantly, like think of what you don't want. The things that you don't want, that's what's hindering you. That is what's hindering you. For me, for a while, I wanted to grow my business, right? I wanted to grow my business, but I didn't want to show up. I didn't want to be seen. And that's something that I shared several times on my channel. I was afraid to be seen. I was afraid I was going to mess up. I was afraid that, whatever, just the thoughts of just, not being perfect. And I had to overcome that. And then I started showing up on Instagram. So I was on Instagram mostly. And then I just recently, and I was creating YouTube videos, but then I started showing up live here recently. And so, yeah. Mine was, I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be seen. I was afraid to be judged. Ooh, I love that. I love this word framing. Yeah. Yeah, it's a powerful tool. It really is. It'll get you thinking like, okay, what are my subconscious thoughts? What's really blocking me? What's really going on here? What are the things that And that's why that's why it's really important to have a coach, because especially a mindset coach, because they can help you to see your thoughts. And so I'm a mindset coach, but I hired a mindset coach because I want my coach to help me see my thoughts. Like, it's like you can't do brain surgery on yourself, right? And so yeah, when someone else can point out those thoughts that are hindering you and that are blocking you, once you have revelation, once you bring it to the light, once you become conscious of it, oh, it's game over. Now you can actually attack it. Anthony, question for you if you're still here. Did you start journaling? Did you try it? I want to know, because journaling, to that point, journaling helps to bring awareness of some of the limiting beliefs or subconscious thoughts. Like when you're just journaling, not thinking, but just journaling, just getting it out, you're going to see how like a lot of your limiting beliefs or a lot of your fears or doubts or whatever can like just come up out of you. And it's just a great tool to have. But yeah, journaling helps with that as well. And so yeah, this is the bridge we got to get over. Okay. This is the hell that we're currently in, and we're trying to get to heaven, but there are sharks in the water. And so we got to get to those sharks. And so yeah, that's what I have for you guys tonight. That's what I have. I hope this was a blessing to you. And like I said, Anthony, I'm going to continue to pray on that situation, because that is not cool. And so many people go through that. But I truly believe there will be resolution for sure. There will be resolution for sure. Oh, you're so welcome, pretty things. I have not started. I'm slacking on that. You got this, Anthony. Good night, Brittany. You got this, Anthony. Just try it. Even if it's just to take a piece of paper and just do a quick brain dump. Just everything. Even what you shared tonight, just do a brain dump on that. And you'll be surprised at the revelation that comes from it. All right, our poll says, so our poll is, do you know what your purpose is? 69% says yes, 31% says not sure. And so I pray that after tonight's demonstration with discovering your purpose and doing the homework, make sure you do the homework, 10 things you love to do, 10 things you're really good at. Excuse me. Awesome, Anthony, for sure. Be sure to start. Yeah, you're going to see, like, you'll see. It'll help you. It really will. It'll help you. Even if you want to just commit to, even if it's just once a week for now, like, I think it'll be really beneficial. I know you work out, so I know that also gets relieves you as well. But like, I think just really journaling your thoughts, that's really, really powerful. But yeah, so yeah, I hope that this live tonight helps with anyone who's struggling to discover their purpose. I was there. I know what it's like. And that is what I do. That's what I'm passionate about. And I just give God thanks for what I get to do and how I get to serve God's people. And so I love you guys. I'm going to tell you, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the next step. I'll see you Monday night. Have a blessed weekend. Bye.